I put my trust in you, and I trust in our love. I put my trust in you, I put my trust in love. I put my trust in you, and I trust in our love. I put my trust in you, I put my trust in love.
Hello, friends. My name is Dave Miller.
And I'm Niall Spain, and we are your fuck buddies.
We are a dating sex advice podcast where we take your sticky, sexy situations and turn them into sexy, sticky situations.
Simply put, we find questions either online or from our twisted, beautiful listeners, of which you are one, and we answer them right here on the topics of sex and dating.
And we're reporting from the future.
We're recording
past.
from the past.
The past.
Which is how we always do it, weirdly. Just further in the past.
Further in the past.
Which we did mention last week, which was
Yes.
also in the past.
So if you're listening to this,
It is current. I'm just going to give the date for safety.
Yeah.
It is April 9th.
April 9th.
So if we are ignoring glaring things like...
If anything has happened between then and when this comes out.
Mhm. And it has. We know it has. Something has happened. Hopefully it's something good. Probably won't be.
But you're listening to this. So
if we just didn't
total
mention,
civilization collapse hasn't happened yet. You still have the internet.
well, we all know they're going to, like, let's say, an EMP goes off. Oh, it scrambles everything. The governments are going to scramble to get podcasting back up first because it's
Yeah.
the most important thing,
Yeah.
right? So this could be, survivors crouched around the fire in the ruined cityscape of Belfast, and they got a fucking can of beans on a stick, and they're listening. We're the only voice.
How's tell me more. Expand on this beans on stick.
So can
idea.
of beans,
Yeah.
little hole that you've drilled.
Through the middle of the can.
Yeah, and you put a stick through, and then you can rotate it to get even bean heating.
Okay.
Yeah, you haven't opened it. That would be insane.
Right. Yes. That'd
Um,
be stupid.
So dumb. That's number one. And here's some tips. Don't open the can of beans if you're going to rotate it because it'll fall out.
Yeah.
So you're welcome.
Make sure you got a stick big enough, equal to the size of your drill hole.
True. Yeah, because you want to plug that hole as
Yeah.
much as you want to be able to put in. And you want a long stick so you don't burn your hands as well.
Yeah.
Bad thing, sticks are flammable.
That's true.
So we tricked you if you already did this.
It's done when the stick breaks.
Yeah. So if you're a survivor, we hope you're enjoying listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
It's grim because every time we make jokes, it turns out those jokes aren't jokes very quickly. Like No Jobs, we had a whole prison joke that very, very, very quickly became reality.
Yeah.
So
It's your fault, is what you're saying.
I am a
We found
prophet.
him, boys. Get him.
give me. But this week we are going to talk about father has a picture of a furry in a sexual position as his TikTok profile picture. What do I do?
Dude looks like a lady.
Why do women get the ick when they find out I have an Android?
And don't be afraid to catch feelings.
Oh man, it's
Those are all lyrics to songs.
I love that. Throw RA, it's comp. My 24-year-old female father, 45-year-old male, has a picture of a furry in a sexual position as his TikTok profile picture. How do I approach this? Oh my God, I can't stop laughing, but I'm also crying from embarrassment from this. My dad likes to send TikToks to us all the time, and at first his user had no profile or anything. But then my sister sends me a picture of a notification, TikTok sent her, this account sent you videos or something like that, and it's a picture of a profile with a sexualized furry. Took us a week to find out it was my dad. He sent me a video and TikTok snitched that it was his account, lol. Me and my sister were going to ignore it because what are we supposed to do? But then he realized he also sends videos to his friends and family, and we should probably say something. Any advice on how to approach this? It is so awkward because we're not really close to dad either.
This dad is out of control.
This TikToking furry.
You know what? I was like on board with it of being like, maybe this Gooner dad is just like trolling his kids by like having the like cringiest picture he could find. Because he's on TikTok. He knows what a furry is. He's
The thing is, I don't think you're allowed to go on TikTok as a dad. This man's been radicalized.
yes.
It seems the furries got him before Andrew Tate did, which
Yeah.
is good, I guess.
But the best thing is the ending of being like, we're not super close with dad. What is dad sending you? What are the TikTok? Is it just sort of like dad talk videos of being like, so lucky to have two beautiful daughters or whatever, right? Like
I do really want to know, like, is it like, oh, here's dogs, or is it furry content?
or is it unhinged shit that we send each other on TikTok and stuff? Like, we need examples of what he's sending you. Second, it does seem to imply that he has a second account.
Yeah,
This is his secret Gooner furry account that he forgot to. It's like when Republicans,
Are
like congressmen, forget to log out of their
the
like
POC fake account they have. That's like, I love Trump. He's good for me in my future. And you're like, God damn it, Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
like, that's the thing. I thought, oh no, it's a dad let loose on TikTok. He's silly boy. His brain's too pliable. He's probably made a mistake with this furry thing. But no, if he has the wherewithal to make a second account,
Yeah.
that's his wank account.
That's the thing. He's training an algorithm very specifically if this is his vibe.
Yeah. And I guess he's just getting mixed up and sending them to you. Unless is joke? Is he a funny dad?
That's my thing. Is this dad like, is he a meme master?
Yeah.
Is he a meme dad? Because, like, if so, this is very fucking funny.
Is there a TikTok trend where you change your profile to a sexual furry to troll your kids? Because the thing is, you always see, the cinnamon challenge that the teens are doing. Oh, the sleepy chicken challenge that the teens are doing. Teens aren't the only ones that can get in on these trends. And maybe the dads are doing stuff that we're not privy to. Although, let's take a minute here. My Spotify hit me the other day with a Made For You 2000s dad rock.
Yeah.
And it was just like Linkin Park and like Slipknot and System of a Down. And that's what I listened to when I was a young boy.
Yep.
And I'm not dad.
You're not a dad,
I'm a young boy.
You are dad aged.
I'm not.
Dad aged.
I'm not. I'm not.
Here's another. You ready for this to boggle your noodle? In the 90s, the music my dad listened to, in the 70s, classic rock. The gap between that period of time is smaller than the gap between now and the 90s. The 90s is more classic rock than the 70s was in the 90s.
So I'm going to go eat this entire thing of bubble wrap and just end it now.
No, it's audio nightmare.
That would be, someone would love it. Someone would fucking love it as I slowly kill myself by choking on.
Yeah.
Damn, I don't even know if I can go back. Okay, think of the furry dad. It'll bring you back. Oh, okay.
I love the idea that there is a subsection of TikTok of dads who are teaching other dads how to be the most menace to their children. Of being like, guys, I figured it out. Here's a new thing that we're doing. Make a new account, goon it up with some furry porn, and then send your kid TikToks that way.
R&D, AD.
R-A.
Research and development. And development. Because it's dad, DAD.
I just like the idea that, like, because it's not on, like,
dad fads.
I'm dad fads. I'm not on TikTok for dad content, but dads are on there for dad content. Well, apparently
every content is dad content for us now, isn't it?
Yeah, except for the kids' content, which is mostly TikTok.
Yeah, I would love to know. And the thing is, right, this is dangerous because you need to talk to him so we can know, right? And I don't care about your well-being. I'm sorry. It's about us. But you need to be ready that for your dad to be like, I just love jerking it to these furry guys.
Lola Button was a bunny. I was
Lola Button.
Loli
Button.
What is her name?
Lola Bunny?
Lola Bunny.
How did you get lost? You had Lola and you had Buh.
It was just all.
She is a bunny.
She gets me real flustered. All right,
Yeah,
she's my profile picture. It was an awakening for him when he took you guys to see Space Jam.
When the liberals removed her thick and juicy double D's,
giant tits, her giant rabbit tits.
She knew.
Yeah,
he knew.
Maybe that's what, like, the green M&M was like step one. That was the door being cracked open.
So are we saying the right wings of America are a gateway drug to furryism?
I think so.
Damn.
I think that's what I'm saying.
I want to know, like, is it a costumed furry, like a real life photo of?
Is it a real? Yes.
Or is it like a Lola Bunny, or is it like is it his OC?
Is it OC? Is it his persona?
Yeah. Is it Dad's OC? Dad's persona? Like, there's so many possibilities, and each one has startlingly different, like, results. You know what I mean?
And, like, I want to know,
is it Sonic?
What are we talking about when we say sexually explicit?
Yeah, like do they just have a wang out, or like, are they gaping?
Are they just kind of like bent over? Like, could it be viewed through the eyes of a naive dad as just like
funny,
a cool bunny or something, right? Like,
what if, like, is it Sonic content? I know Sonic content has some pretty fucked up shit. What if he's like, because he's probably our age. He is our age. No, he's not. He's 10 years older than us ish.
Okay.
But, like, maybe as a teen, he liked Sonic?
Yeah.
It's probably a little old for that. I don't know.
No, you could be into Sonic. Thanks,
man.
Sonic has been going for...
No, I know. I'm just thinking, like, when he was, 15 to 20 was probably when Sonic came out, you know?
Yeah.
That just seems a little old. But that's fine. I don't know, man. I need to know. And this is the worst part of my job. This is what I'm going to say. The worst part is the not knowing.
Yeah.
You know, I need pictures. I need information.
What we need to see the dad's profile picture.
Yeah.
That is a must. We need a sampling, a playlist of the TikToks that he sent you. both from his
Mhm.
his
You know what,
unknown.
I'm gonna write this down, and I am gonna message them, and we're gonna get answers here. So we're gonna need to know what they sent.
Yeah, what they sent, like a collection of like, and are they different from what he sends from his
Yeah.
unknown account? Because I
Mhm.
think that is very important. We need a picture of this profile pic for sure, or at least a description of it. And then we also need to know if they've had the conversation. I would like to know
Yeah.
how that went. And look, if you want to have that conversation with your dad, getting into actual advice,
No.
I think you casually go like, "Hey, Dad, are you aware of like where did you get that picture? Where did that picture come from, Dad?"
Mhm.
And if he's just like, "Oh, I just Googled like hot bunny," or like
That's its own chat though.
he's like, well, you know, our last name is Wolf. And I thought like Wolfman would be like a cool name or something. So I just searched like, you know, badass wolf, and I found this picture. And it's like not knowing that
Mhm.
it's a like jacked as shit sort of
Yeah, what
ready
he
to
thought
fuck.
was a third arm is in fact.
Yeah.
You know.
He was like, oh man, I thought it was his tail. Oh no.
I was wondering why his tail was pulsing and going the other way.
Yeah.
And shooting out little wolf semens.
So it's like, you know, that's how I think you bring it up if you really want to,
Mhm.
or just casually be like, Dad, is this you? Is this your account? That's weird. I thought you used this account. And like, don't ever mention, so he can be like, oh no.
Or like, I keep getting like random messages from this account, but it's got this weird like furry sex picture. At which point your dad's gonna be like, what's a furry sex picture? I'm run to the bathroom to find more.
Or he will be like, what's a furry sex picture? And then run to the bathroom even faster when he realized what he's done.
Yeah. It's I'd say even odds that I'd say 50% chance it's a mistake, and he's just being a gormless dad on the internet. He
just bumbling around.
He made a silly. I think it's a 25% chance this is his furry Gooner account.
Yeah.
And a 25% chance he's doing this to make all your lives miserable in the most fun dad way imaginable.
I hope so.
That's my
dad energy. If I would be on the cutting edge of cringe content,
dads, man, I would be.
Yeah. I like that would, and I would harass my children. There would be no end.
Mhm.
There would be no safe place
No.
from my children, from my impishness.
They would fucking hate you, but you'd be a very successful influencer, and a lot of families would become closer as a result of what you do.
Our friends' kids would love us.
Yes.
And when our kids are 20 or older, they will love us. They will look back fondly and being like, I think looking back,
they'll raise their kids with such tenderness and genuine like emotional openness in protest of just the sheer amount of furry porn they've been. I don't know.
Yeah. Thank you for this. This is a wonderful gift in trying times. I know we didn't really help you, but
we will. I think
you helped us.
Sometimes we say we'll follow up on things. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we hear more. This one I'm going to bear down on. I'm going to try to get answers.
No, maybe don't use the word bear down on.
Oh, I'm using it because if she won't answer me, her dad will.
Her dad will.
Her dad will find this. We got to quick keywords. Horny Sonic, bent over wolf alpha,
pulsing rabbit pussy.
What
are we doing right now?
Original. These are all the keywords for. You put them in the description.
Oh, gotcha.
Your go.
Okay, sorry, I was
thinking of.
I got lost in the sauce there. This is from a deleted user. Don't like my boyfriend as a femboy. My 25-year-old female partner, 25-year-old male, recently told me he really likes dressing up as a femme and wanted to include it in our private moments. Problem is, I really don't like it. I don't find him attractive, especially shaved. I don't like how he acts, a very cliche, sexy girl pitch voice. And he wants me to dominate him. We've talked about this plenty of times, tried it, and he knows it's not my thing. At first, I really tried to play it cool and act like I liked it, but it was killing my mood and it weighed down on me. So I told him, but he just sighed and asked me to make an effort. Maybe I'll like it. I really don't know what to do now.
If you don't enjoy it, you say, hey, because it sounds like you have tried it.
That's the thing.
So you've gone above and beyond.
You
know what I mean?
gave it it sounds like a pretty strong college try. Yeah. And really, when it comes to kinks,
that's the most anyone could
that's
really,
all you can ask for from a partner.
Yeah, because you definitely could have just shut it down before you even did anything, which there's nothing wrong with that. If it's not your thing, you're never, required to do anything you're not comfortable with. But you gave it a try, and I think you got to say like, hey, look, I've tried this. I know you're really into it, and I'm sorry, but it really isn't my thing. Like, I don't really want to do it anymore. And then just be like, I know you're very into it. Is this going to be an issue? And like, try to have a frank discussion on like, is that a deal breaker? Will they be honest with you? Who knows? But then the next time, if they bring it up, be like, hey, we already had this conversation. I'm not into it. Again, if this is a deal break for you, I'm sorry, but and just try to be honest without being demeaning or aggressive, and like make sure that they know you're not kink shaming them and that you're not like, you don't think they're any lesser or whatever, just that it's not your vibe and it's taking you out of the moment.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, specifically from what I was reading in terms of like the questions that I find, and every time this kind of comes up, it seems like there's almost an expectation from the men who want to perform as like a femme that they expect every woman to want to dominate them. They expect that like every woman wants to be dominant and wants to like treat them poorly and dominate them and it's a weird like phenomena that I've seen, and like even in the comments of this one where I was just like it's funny because the assumption usually is the other way, right? Like it's usually assumed that men want to dominate women, and that when the roles are reversed, that assumption also gets flipped of being like the woman should always be dominated. And I don't know, it just interested me that like the people who want to participate in being a femboy, and I don't know if that's the agreed upon term. I don't know. I'm not sure. So
if it isn't,
I'm using it
because it was in the question.
Because of the question, and that I'm hoping is what he has described it as.
Yeah.
But if it's not, I'm happy to adjust my language. Upon education. But yeah, it's interesting that like the femboys are almost like,
well, we can't say that.
There's like an assumption that like the second it's brought up that whoever their partner is will really like will want to dominate them. Like that is like the like almost go to being like, great, now you do this, and people are like, well, like, why would you think that I want to like swap roles if that's like
if you're previous
what the dynamic is? It's like it was very strange to me that like that was the like assumption.
Yeah, I think just knowing that you have done more than you ever needed to do, which was by giving this a shot. There's nothing wrong with not being into it, and you need to not let your partner make you feel that way. I do think it is always smart to give as much like kindness as you can, because it is a scary thing to open up and give someone, like, let them into your kink, and you could definitely feel defensive or judged or like belittled, talked down to, et cetera, when being rejected. And I think, especially with something like this, which is so like counter to how, quote, men are meant to be, society is like, oh, you can't be that, you know what I mean? To be effeminate, to be whatever, like, so it could very well manifest in a way where they think that you're like engaging in shitty practices by not doing it, which I also think is really unfair. Like, you're allowed to have your preferences. Yeah. So just try to be kind when you're letting them down, and hopefully they'll be a good partner, but tell them you understand if it's a deal breaker, if that's something that they need. And if not, hopefully they'll be honest if they say that they can move forward.
And there are other things like, look, if you're interested in terms of like satisfying your partner's kink, and this isn't exactly doing, you do list a couple things that like you're not into. You don't like when he's shaved. Okay. So maybe ask like, here are some things like, here, I don't like this current, version of this. Here are some things I'm not a big fan of. It's like, I don't like when you shave. I find you, I don't know if she's talking about face or genitals. Yeah. I'm not sure, like pubic or facial. I'm not sure what she's talking about.
No, this is interesting because we've talked about like having like hair preferences just kind of in general. And we've definitely come down on the side of like, let them do what they want. And if you have like, oh, you can't be shaven or you have to be shaven, you're kind of a dick. So in this situation, is it fair for her to be like, I don't like when you shave?
It depends on if he's only shaving in the persona. Like if he is usually shaven.
Yeah.
Or unshaven, and then when he wants to do it, it'll be like, hey, maybe like it might be easier for me to transition into this thing if there isn't such a divide. I don't know. That's a good point.
Because like that's just like, I get where you're coming from, and in a way, I totally agree. But in another way, it's like it's kind of contrary to other advice we've given. Re-shaving. It's like, I think maybe that's a weird one to be,
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's all tricky, you know what I mean?
And it's also
maybe,
like
maybe instead of pointing out what you don't like, point out the things you do like. So if you're like, oh, I don't mind dominating him. You know what I mean? Or like you don't mind aspects of that. Or I don't mind when he wears the clothes. That's fine. Maybe point out the things you can compromise on. You know what I mean? And being like, oh, I actually don't mind if you do X, Y, and Z, as opposed to being like, don't do X, Y. You know, it's kind of the same thing, but you're flipping it to be more positive.
And alternatively, like if you are heterosexual and you started dating a man,
yes,
and they want to act and perform more effeminate and feminine and look less like a man, it's like, if you're not attracted to women and he wants to present more as a woman, that's
understandable.
That's understandable.
Totally fine.
I really want to stress that I'm not trying to push any sort of like transphobic, like,
no.
But people are into what people are into, right? Like, I don't think there's any harm in if someone wants to present themselves however they want. You aren't there isn't like an obligation or an expectation that like your sexuality should shift to match that. Right. Like,
I think the only obligation is that you don't become a shithead. You know what I mean? Like, if you aren't into a thing, that's fine. If you start to judge someone based on that, or be shitty to them as a result, or like weaponize that's when you're being a shithead. If you're just not sexually into it, that's fine. Which again is why I want to stress, because I think it's always like a hard thing when kink is involved, and like it's very vulnerable and raw. But I think in instances like this, where there are kind of other issues at play too, not necessarily, but like there are political things linked to it.
It is kind of like a layered.
It could be unfair, and also maybe some of your prejudices are playing in. Like 100%. That's the thing I would also like for you to maybe examine, because it's like, do you feel like, oh, your partner isn't being masculine now, and that's a turnoff for you? But is it actually, or is it just a thing society is kind of telling you should feel? You know what I mean?
Or is it a matter of like, you're attracted to men, and he is starting to look less like a man and acting more, traditionally. And it's like, like I'd understand that. It's like I've had conversations with friends or people who are, transphobic or who push and be like, well, would you ever hook up with like a trans woman? Like, yes. However, the caveat there is, I don't like penises. I'm not attracted to penises, and I don't want to be involved with a penis because I am straight. So if there's a penis involved, I probably won't pursue a sexual relationship with that person because that's not the sexuality that I hold. Sure. I'm not, you know what I mean? But like, if they are post-op or for whatever, I don't give a fuck. Like,
I'm not judging someone based on a label. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, I like you and we're getting on and I find you attractive. Oh, and I find out this label. Oh no, now you're worthless to me. That's when you're a shithead. You know what I mean? Like, if that's the thing that's changing my view, just the label that they have, then I'm an asshole. You know what I mean? If everything else is falling into place and I'm just like, oh, this thing, no, it doesn't fucking play in. So be careful, as you always should be in a kink conversation and letting people down, and just make sure that you are supportive and healthy partner. And hopefully you'll figure out whether or not it's a deal breaker. But, if you can compromise, like if there are things that you don't mind that you're willing to do, maybe that will be enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just try to get a full worldview of what this is going to be, because it doesn't have to just be a no.
Yeah.
Unless it does, in which case,
unless
make it firm,
is.
You know
in which
I mean?
case, yeah.
I'm just saying there are gray areas. There might not be for you, but sometimes you think, oh, if I reject X, I'm rejecting Y, Z, W. But if you don't mind parts, maybe that'll be a good thing for both of you guys. This is by Always Pizza Time.
Hell yeah.
Why do so many women get the ick when they find out I have an Android phone? I've gone on a bunch of first dates this year, mainly through dating apps. 28, male, no trouble getting dates because I'm relatively attractive, over 6 feet tall, and have an interesting career. But I've noticed that every time I pull out my phone on a first date, women will do a double take, as if they can't believe someone like me doesn't use an iPhone. My most recent first date last week, I took out my Samsung 25 Ultra to show my date a photo of some place we were discussing. She immediately asked, is that an Android phone? And when I said, yeah, do you have a problem with that? She said, just why? Why would you use an Android when iPhones exist? I then proceeded to explain how Android is superior in many ways, such as having support for split-screen apps, sideloading, fast charging, 120 hertz, a bunch of other features. Is this just a hidden Samsung ad?
Yeah.
Did they get it? Did they fucking infiltrate the podcast? Samsung.
We said no.
We will not take your dirty money.
Unless, hey, Samsung.
If the price is right.
Come on.
But she rolled around and said, why would you ever want to run two apps side by side? So I gave up on convincing her. Another girl I went out on a date with last year noticed my Android phone and sort of gave me a backhanded compliment and said that even though she's an iPhone user, she likes Android men because they're weird and nerdy. Neither of us have an iPhone, so we're not beating the allegations here. Weird and nerdy podcaster D&D folk. If this were a one-off incident, I would just ignore it and move on to the next girl, but it's happening so many times, I'm wondering if I'm just better off popping my SIM card into my work iPhone, bring that in dates to avoid this conversation entirely. I don't understand why women are so repulsed by Android phones, especially because where I live, no one even uses iMessage, everyone's on WhatsApp, so it's not like they have issues with green bubbles like in the US.
I will say, like, yeah, during my last stint of dating, I never got, like, no one ever commented it in person, but I did get the, like, green bubble, huh? Like, and I'm just like, it texts the exact same.
Yeah.
What are you so fucking weird about this?
I had one girl once be like, "Ugh, that's your phone?" And I was like, yeah, why the fuck do you care? And like literally just like, it's so shameful of them to be like, that's what I care about. And I was just like, yeah, I don't want to see you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's just such an embarrassing thing. It's like, I don't show up and go like, oh, what are you wearing? Oh, this under $100? No. Or like, you know what I mean? Judging someone by something so superficial, especially when there is no difference. iPhones are just more expensive, which also arguably makes you a worse person because you're bad at deals.
The crazy thing is being able to like catch it. Like if someone put like 4 phones face up, I wouldn't know which is which.
Your phone's right in front of me, and I've hung out with you how long? And I was like, we're both Android users, right?
We pop those bad boys out, and we put them right there. I wouldn't know which one. I mean, that my screen just popped up with a picture of my cat.
You idiot! You got a cat phone. I knew it.
But like, I wouldn't immediately know which one is which.
But that's the depths of the sadness.
Yeah, it's
like, if you give a shit about something so superficial,
weird.
You are a bad person.
There was something else that happened the other day where someone like clocked it right away. I was like, how do you know that? I don't remember what it was.
Well,
though.
Then you need to be specific. Yeah. I can't do anything with that thing.
Yeah.
You've killed comedy. You took it to the back of the closet.
You're welcome.
You've fucking executed it, and then you've grabbed useful discourse and you've garroted them, and then you've flipped off all our listeners, and now you're just yawning or coming.
I'll never tell.
Yeah. Who wants to be with someone that materialistic and shallow? And it doesn't have to just be iPhones. It could be anything.
Just tell them you built it like Tony Stark in a cave.
Then they're going to be like, ew, Marvel? You think they respect Marvel movies?
I mean, I think Marvel's a safer bet than DC.
I hope so. Hey, if they like DC, that's another red flag.
Yeah. Be like, oh, you're going to talk about Dark Knight again? Fuck off.
Dark Knight was good.
Yeah.
That was
That's the Christian Bale ones.
Yeah.
Overrated.
Compared to the rest of DC?
Yes.
Phenomenal. Incredible. Anyone this like stuck up, elitist, misguided, shallow.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Now, also, how much of this is you?
It does feel weird that you also popped into your big Samsung diatribe. So like maybe it's you.
Yeah. I mean, like when people ask me, people be like, every iPhone I've ever owned has been absolute dog shit. The first iPhone I ever owned slid off my couch cushion about maybe like a foot onto carpet and shattered.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? You know what I've done to this phone?
Bad things.
My old phone.
You drop it almost every time we record.
Yeah. My cat yeets this off my desk or my side table every time I sleep. Yeah.
Oliver's so elitist.
My old phone got run over by a van, and then like a fucking like shelving unit fell on it when I was filming on something. And I was like, I was using it
Dane
as like
lives in a like slapstick comedy movie.
I was using it as like a behind the scenes footage camera when we were shooting something.
Pervert.
And everything just went wrong on that day. I woke up fucking, and not a scratch on it.
The only iPod product I ever had, or Apple product, I guess.
Yeah.
I had a what were the music players, but they were touch screen?
iPod Touch?
iPod Touch. I had an iPod Touch, and I had it in a bag, and I put a bunch of beer in that bag, and I guess the force of the beer cracked the screen.
Okay, so you're saying like beer cans in the bag. Okay.
No, I didn't just pour liquid.
It sounds like you took like a Ziploc bag or you reverse riced it.
Yeah.
Just like you threw your iPod in there and just cracked open a bunch.
It was too dry.
I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah, it fell in a puddle of rice.
I was like, no matter where
wet it up.
I was like, no matter where the story goes, I'm not surprised that this thing didn't work.
It was in my backpack. I put like 12 cans of beer in there and cycled up to a party. And then when I took it out, it was just fucking done. It was like, it wasn't on top. It was just in a pocket, but the sheer pressure.
iPhones are made not to last.
The boy pressure in that bag.
So I'm just saying, I don't get it.
Yeah, like,
and Apple has never.
Look, guys, we're kind of doing the reverse thing where now we're being superior about non-Apple products. But it's like, if there was a reason to get Apple over anything other than like this weird social chip, sure. But there isn't. They're way more expensive. They do the same thing.
Yeah.
There's no like, so anyway, stop. Anyone who's this shallow, like, also, I don't give a shit if you have an Apple phone. I don't care what you have. I don't know what you have.
Again, I could not pick out whether you had an Apple phone or not unless you turn around, there's a big Apple logo on it. Like that's the only way.
And
I
I
would know
hate apples and I still don't care.
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
Yeah, but anyone who's like that weird about a small detail, don't fucking date them.
Nah, and also I'm gonna flip side. We talked about it very briefly, but like if you're that defensive about not having an Apple or iPhone,
Feels
perhaps
like you want one.
perhaps maybe you just chill out on Android and just be like, yeah, I like Androids, and leave it at that, right? Like that's what the conversation
Or
should
even
be.
just like,
Yeah, if someone's like, "Why? Oh, you have an Android?" You'd be like, "Yep," and like that's it. You don't need to go. You don't need to sell them on it. You need to convince them on it. People are gonna buy iPhones.
Does this person just always bring it up though? I bet they're like, yeah, sorry, I just gotta get my Samsung. I just gotta get my Android.
Samsung Galaxy X1 4 limited edition released on like this is from Lori.
Well, what phone does Lori have?
Yeah, Lori, what's your phone? How do people not catch feelings in casual relationships? Being someone who is only interested in relationships, I can never understand casual things. Since many people prefer casual relationships, I wonder how can you spend all this time with one person, maybe even know things about each other, and have a good time but not want to date them? If anyone's boring me or we don't banter, I wouldn't hang out with them at all. It seems like if you're someone who engages in casual sex, that stuff doesn't matter, but how do you never become interested in them? I'm genuinely curious, as I'm on the opposite side of things. I also wanted to ask, has anyone actually ended up dating someone they were casual relationship with? And what's your experience?
Yes, and it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, like, oh God, questions like this are so bizarre because it's like, oh, why would you spend all this time with one person? It's like, well, a key thing about being casual is, and one of the best parts is not just one person.
Yeah.
It is multiple people, which is kind of the draw, right? In a lot of ways, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Too. They're like, how would you do that and not want to like maybe even know things about them? I was like, yeah, you can do everything. You're just not committed to them.
That's
like,
I mean, like that's it, right? Like a lot of people, I think, see casual relationships as like cold and transactional.
Yes. And hey, I've dated some people or like, I've been in casual relationships with some people who also think that.
Yeah.
And it sucks. It
sucks.
Like, what are you doing? Like, this isn't fun for anybody. And like the weird thing that you think is like, oh, I want to do this thing, but I want to do it in the way that makes it the worst way it could possibly be.
Yeah. Like every casual, well, I won't say every, but like
the good ones,
the ones that I enjoyed and the ones that I stayed in for a long time, the ones that I look back fondly on, were ones that like where if you removed the polyamorous nature of it would be a great relationship.
Yeah.
Right. Like it would have been like if we were exclusive and dating, it would have been a really good relationship.
Yeah, and not much probably would have changed.
No, not at all. Like we were, we talked about important things. They shared important details about themselves. When they had a bad day, we would talk about it. Like all those things that you would do.
Fun and like.
And I hate to break it to you, but I did have feelings for them.
Yeah.
I did care about them.
That's another thing is like you can care about someone and not want to be exclusive with them. Exclusivity or marriage or whatever label you want to put on whatever part of your relationship doesn't mean you care more or less.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, I really like them. Well, why haven't you married them? It's like, oh, you got me.
Yeah.
I only like them 5 amounts, not 10. Like marriage doesn't have any like actual like tangible, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like proof of caring, nor does dating. Like some people date people the second they meet them because they're insecure or like have religious views or whatever. And it's like, that doesn't mean you like them more or less. It just means you don't want them seeing other people.
I promise you that there are casual relationships. I've had casual relationships that have been a stronger foundation than most people's like monogamous exclusive relationships.
But that's like, the thing is, it should always start like casual anyway, because why would you date someone when you don't know you want to date them? And how would you get to know that you want to date them unless you've spent time with them? And how would you spend time with them if you're not spending time with them?
And that's like your last question being like, did you ever have someone like, yes,
that
should be specifically how everyone dates. You should always have a very casual sort of like, okay, we're seeing each other. We're talking to each other. We're seeing each other. Or like, again, you can have a casual relationship where you're only seeing one person. That's a perfectly fine thing to do of just being like, the option is out there.
Just because the option is
we're not monogamous. We're not
it.
exclusive. It's, but like we're just seeing each other right now. And like, That's fine.
Yeah.
And either that transitions to a relationship or you keep doing that forever or it fizzles out.
Yep.
Whatever. But like, that's how dating is.
Yeah.
Because the alternative is
you find someone and just latch onto them for reasons.
Yeah, and you don't date. You're not dating. If you go on one date with that person and then you say, you're the only person I'm going to pay any attention to until we either drive this into the ground or get married.
Yeah.
Then you're not dating.
No.
You've dated.
Yeah.
Right? Like you've had one date and now you're in a relationship.
Yeah.
And seems
I
crazy.
love questions like this where it's like, what's in between? Like for you, are you literally trying to date people day one? You're trying to be exclusive day one?
Yeah.
Why? Why do you want to be chained to someone you don't even know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like for me, like being exclusive with someone is a very serious commitment, right? I take it very seriously. And I couldn't take it very seriously if I didn't make that choice with weight. And I couldn't make that choice, I give it the importance it needs if I didn't actually know that it was what I wanted. And how would I know whether it's what I want or not if I don't get to that point?
And this is why I think a lot of people get frustrated with dating. And a lot of people consider dating, like get really upset about when things don't pan out because they're like, you wasted my time.
Yeah.
Dating's a waste of time. It's like, well,
You wasted your time.
wasted your time because you decided to put all of your investment into one person that you do not know.
Yeah.
So if that's how you want to date, you can't be upset when it doesn't pan out. If
Yeah.
that person's like, actually, I don't really like it. Or they ghost you because they've known you for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Like it sucks.
like-
I'm not saying it's a good thing to do and it doesn't feel bad, but you don't know this person. And you know, like anyone going into dating thinking that this isn't the culture right now, you know. Everything is instant gratification. Swipe, 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 swipe. And the second something else comes along, the potential to drop you is there.
I'll also say, I don't think a normal person is going, yeah, let's date day one.
No.
So you're alienating a lot of people from the dating pool. And what you're getting are either people who are like desperate, religious,
Or lying.
And that's the best thing is like a guy who's going to want to just like fuck you and run. They're not going to see any danger. Like, yeah, we're exclusive. Don't worry. Because it doesn't matter because day one, it's so easy. It's just a word. It's a yes. And then you like, oh, all men are trash. He lied to me. He cheated on me. He blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, you put him in a situation where, again, he's going to be on the weird end of the spectrum where you're religious, overly serious, or weird, or insecure, or whatever. Or he's a liar. And you're missing out on the middle of people who are like, we'll give you a chance.
Yeah.
That's weird to me.
It is very strange to when you break it down, when people are like, oh, I'm looking for a relationship. Great. How do you get there? Like, what are you doing specifically to get to a relationship? Because if it's not going on dates with multiple people and it's like a lot of people are like, oh, well, I don't want to see it's like, I understand that. I understand that impulse of being like, I don't want to sleep with multiple people. And we're not telling you to.
No.
What we're saying is you go on a couple dates with different people. And if there's one person that really gets your attention, sure, put a little bit more focus on that, and see where it goes. But don't assume that because you've put that much time or because that's the person you want, that it's going to go anywhere.
Yeah, or that they owe anything that you're putting in back. Right?
Because how many times have you gone on a date with someone and you're like, that's not it?
Yeah.
I got bad news for you. There's just as many people who go on a date with you and feel the same way.
Yeah.
And that's not a burn on you. It's just the way
Also,
that life works.
People you might like who don't like you as much, and that's fine. But like to assume that just because, I've chosen this, it's going to work out. I'm going to get back what I put in, blah, 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 blah. No.
And I'm also now going to fantasize about our life together. I'm going to dream about getting married. I think this is what I thought. I thought I found the one. It's like all those things so quickly is
it's a recipe for disaster.
You're just building yourself up for heartache. And then what heartache gives you is bitterness. It's going to give you, and then like that makes things harder because now you're coming in with that like extra little tinge of like being miserable that most, adjusted people can spot a mile away. Like when I was on the dating apps, it was so easy to go through and be like, oh, you'd be like, you're terrible because like you have something when we used to do Tinder reviews of being like, not bitter yet, or I need someone who's this, or like I'm sick of this.
I'm so sick of being on the apps. Give me a reason why I shouldn't delete it today.
Yeah. And it's just like those people were just hard nosed.
Yeah. Why would I want that energy?
Yeah. I don't want that. I want someone fun. I want to be dating, and I want dating to be fun.
And that's the thing. When I was dating, it was always fun, and all the casual relationships I was in were fun, and we cared about each other and treated each other well, and we had fun. And then if it got to a point with someone where I wanted to be exclusive with them, it became that way. Like there's no like madness here. There's no science. It's not crazy. It's just like it's like, I don't know, guys. It's just, it's like moving an acquaintance to a friend. You know what I mean? If you have a bunch of acquaintances who like maybe you'll see at the climbing gym, or like they go to the same bar and every now and then you see them, or like you meet up for a sports event or whatever. But then eventually you're like, you know what? I actually really like this person. I should hang out with them more. And you like get their number and make a plan to actually hang out with them. You could get your head around that. So why can't you get your head around a casual relationship?
Yeah.
You know? And sometimes it's just sex, but it still doesn't mean you don't care about them, you aren't nice to them, etc. Right?
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like it's treating casual relationships as if it's just sort of like a miserable prison that you're just doing to fuck, and then like it's like, no, it's like there's been plenty of times where, you know, I've been in casual relationships and I've booty called them and like, oh, I'm on my period, I don't really want to be like, well, like come over and let's like order a pizza and watch a fucking movie or something, right? It's like that's a casual relationship, because then it's like we don't worry, you know, like I don't know. It's very strange to me that like this idea that casual means cold and detached and uncaring,
or also that care means dating and exclusivity. It's like, why?
Because do you feel that way about friends?
Yeah.
Like, do you have a barrier of like how much you care about your friends? Because if you cared about them anymore, they would be married to you.
Yeah.
Right. Like I don't understand that. Like, do you understand that relationships are dynamic and feelings are dynamic and every relationship isn't the same. So like looking at your friend's marriage that's working is not going to be working for you, or might not work for you because of different things. It's like there's so many moving parts, and every relationship with every person in your life should be different.
Yeah.
If you treat your relationship with your best friend and expect that vibe to fit with your work friends, and that vibe to fit with the guy you met on Tinder, and that vibe to fit with the guy you met at a bar, and you know what I mean? It's like, to think that you can just be like, this is my caring style and this is how I care and it's going to work for everyone. It's like, no, that's not how it works. Sometimes you have to like alter things. Maybe one person needs a little bit more texting, needs a little bit more, you know, constant communication. Some people, like for me, I'm the lowest maintenance in terms of stuff, because like I know that just because you haven't texted me today doesn't mean you've forgotten about me. And I don't need that. And it's fine, right? But I know like other people, past partners who like a little check-in, and so I have to like actually
I like my friends to be visible in my life. You know what I mean?
And like you just need to know, you need to have like a little bit of like relationship literacy and be like, oh, I acknowledge that person needs X, Y, and Z. And if it doesn't work for you, if it doesn't fit for you, then like you know that, and it might not be smart to try to pursue something with that person. And that's we get it all the time where people like just refuse to communicate their needs and either A, expect their partner to just know, or B, their partner has asked for X, Y, and Z, and they are just like, I don't want to though. You're like, okay, well then like this isn't gonna work.
Yeah. And also like if you have a good relationship with someone, does it need to be exclusive? You know what I mean? If you are seeing someone casual and it's good, what does that change? Is it just to assuage your jealousy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if that's why you're making decisions on who to date, that's not great.
No.
You know what I mean? Like if you're making a decision because that's the person you really want to be with and it's for like positive reasons, great. But if it's just like, oh, I don't want them seeing other people, that's a bad reason to tie yourself to someone. You know what I mean? It's wild. It's wild.
Yeah.
I think that's going to do it for us.
That's it for this one, friends. Hopefully you've been able to find some little bit of hope while you have finished heating your beans up.
Fuck, we talked for too long. We were too engaging. You forgot the beans.
Oh, the beans. They're in the fire now.
Damn.
They got to reach in because you can't put out the last flame.
No. The one flame remaining in the world. Yeah.
It's been a blast. We appreciate you spending some time with us. We know you're busy and there's not a lot of time to do all the things that we want to do anymore. And so taking an hour out of your day to hang out with us is very, very nice. And we appreciate it very much.
Yeah, we love you. If you want to support us, please follow us on Patreon, post about us, review us, like and share the things we post, tell a friend. All of these things help us do what we do. And we love you.
Yeah.
And for some bad sex writing, we're going to find a little, the principal's corner at a school newsletter where he tried to empower the women. Big congrats.
Wait, hold on. Is this a real?
I believe it is. Yes.
Okay.
Big congrats. Well, I don't know. His name is Principal Beans.
Ooh.
So I don't know. Big congrats to the girls team. Not a single tear shed until after the match. That's growth.
I mean,
it's the Paddle Gazette, 1995. So yeah.
To be fair, maybe these girls are a bunch of crybabies.
Probably. No. I don't know.
I would say that there are people that I've worked with in the past who cry a lot at work.
Yeah,
And
that's
I think-
fair. I know
I think-
a lot of people who cry.
I think I would congratulate someone and be like, hey, you made it to the end of the ship. And now you're crying. It's like, I'm sorry, but
I like to think that this is a reality where this girls team, they always win. Like they're killers. They always fucking win. And like it's gotten to the point where they're so good that like that's not what they're focused on. It's like, okay, you're great. You do cry a lot though. So instead of us like, you know, the way there's like those sports shows where it's like we got to get the team to win. They're always going to win. They're so good. But it's like, fuck, we got to deal with something else. So it's like,
maybe
we got to make you stop crying.
maybe he's talking about the other team. Maybe these powerful girls
Mm.
are so dominating on the
Mm.
field that they beat their team into tears. And this time they
The other team did put up such a brave face that they only burst into tears after.
and like and the other team, like, you know, the coach has been like, girls, you got to bring it back.
Mhm.
You're at
They're like-
you're at 170% right now. We need you down to 100.
They didn't
please.
cry until after the game. Good job.
Yeah, exactly,
You,
yeah.
you took it easy on them. Principal Beans, do you think he was over the fire?
I hope so. All power structure needs to be removed. My name is Dave Miller.
And I'm Niles Payne.
We are
Light
your
that Molotov.
anarchists.